Good morning, everyone. Myself Ajay. Today, I'm discussing about the topic implementing the subprograms. To implement the subprograms, we have three main parts. The first one is the call semantics, the second one is return semantics, and the third one is required storage. Let's see what is call semantics. Under call semantics, what we do is that we initially save the execution status of the caller. So the caller is a way we call a function, and the execution status will be saved there. After saving the execution status, we then pass the parameters. Once the parameters are passed, then the passing of return address to the callee is done. So after passing the return address to the callee, then the transfer is then it is the transfer control to the callee. So this is about the call semantics. Then we have the return semantics. Under return semantics, if it is by pass by value result or out mode parameters are used, then we move the current values of the parameters to the corresponding actual parameters. So the formal parameters are connected to the corresponding actual parameters. So the first formal parameter will be connected to the first actual parameter, and the second formal parameter will be connected to the second actual parameter. This is what is done there. Then if it is a function, then the functional value is moved to a place the caller can get it. Then once everything is done, then the restoration of the execution status of the caller is done. As the execution status is saved in call semantics, the restoration of the same execution status of the caller will be done in return semantics. So once the restoration is also done, then the transfer controls back to the caller. This happens in return semantics. Then when we go with the required storage part, the storage part is nothing but what information is exactly stored while implementing the subprograms. The status information, information about the parameters, information about the return addresses, and return value for the function. So these are the ways, these are the parts by which we implement the subprograms. Now let's see what is the way to implement a simple subprogram. So while implementing a simple subprogram, for any subprogram, we have two major parts. The first one is the actual code, which is the coded part, and the second one is the non-coded part. The coded part will include the programming language which we use, and the non-coded part includes the local variables and the data which change dynamically. The format of the non-coded part of an executing subprogram is called as a activation record. So an activation record is nothing but a format or a layout or an representation of the non-coded part of the execution of the subprogram is called as the activation record. So whenever a subprogram is being executed, then an activation record will be created automatically. It can be set as an instance of the subprogram. So that you can see here the activation record. So this is the activation record. The activation record has three fields. The first one is the local variables, the second one is the parameters, and the third one is the return address. So this is the example of a simple subprogram how the activation record is represented. So here in the example we are taking three blocks or three subprograms. The first subprogram is A, the second subprogram is B, and the third subprogram is C. So this part is the data part, and this part is the code part. So we will also have a main function, then the subprogram A, B, and C. This is the coded part. So in this coded part, we will have the complete code or the programming which we use. And this is the non-coded part. In the non-coded part also, we will have the main function, the activation record of the A, activation record of the B, and activation record of C, and the main common storage. The storage part will store uh, the status information and parameters and all. So the main function only stores the local variables, and each subprogram has this three fields as we have seen in the before slide. The local variables, parameters, and return addresses. we store in the same way: local variables, parameters, and return addresses of A, then the local variables, parameters, and return address of B, then the local variables, parameters, and return address of C. So this is the way of representing a simple subprogram, the activation record of a simple subprogram. And we can see here the storing, like the implementation of the subprograms with stacked dynamic local variables. This is a bit difficult way of implementing the subprograms. So here we have three. We can see here the local variables, parameters, dynamic link, and return address. Dynamic link is also present in the activation record. So this is an example. You can see here we have taken a subprogram sub. The name of the subprogram is sub, and we have two parameters: float total and int part. Then inside the subprogram we have a variable. It's an array variable, list of 5. Then we have a normal floating variable, float sum. Then we have closed it. Now we can see here. So let's go with the representation of the activation record. So the first, initially, let's see what are the different parameters we have, or or what are the different variables we have, because the first part of the subprogram is the local variables. So we have 5 array variables and one floating variable. So we have given the floating variable sum. Then we have 5 different array variables in 5 different fields: list of 1, list of 2, list of 3, list of 4, and list of 5. So this is the representation of the local variables. Then after local variables, we have the parameters. So we have two parameters in the given example. Those are the total and the part. So we have written the parameter part and the parameter total. The dynamic link, static link, return address are common. So this is about the representation of a simple subprogram. If there is any subprogram in any language like C, Python, or anything, we represent the activation record of the corresponding subprogram in this way. So we have one more example here, in a better way to understand what happens exactly. We have 3 subprograms and the main function. The main function calls B, the subprogram B. Immediately when we go to the subprogram B, it calls A. And then when we go to subprogram A, it calls C. Then when we go to the subprogram C, it doesn't call anything. End of the program. So this program which we need to represent in terms of the activation record. So let's function, and main is calling B. We can see here the main function. The main is calling the activation record B. So in the B, we have, let's see the subprogram B, we have one parameter R and two local variables S and T. So we have written two local variables S and T and one parameter R. The dynamic link, static link, and return address is common. This is the representation of the activation record B. Then immediately we have, when we go to the activation record subprogram B, then it is calling A. Then when we go with A, like when we go with the A and execute the subprogram A, then immediately after B, the activation record of A will be created, which has one parameter and one local variable. We can see here after B in the second diagram, after B, we have created the activation record of A, where we have one local variable and one parameter y and x. That dynamic link, static link, and return address are common. The return address will be, the dynamic link will be connected to activation record B, because B is calling A. As B is calling A, it is pointed towards B. And when we go with the A, it is calling C. Then immediately when we go with C, it has only one variable. So after A, the activation record of C will be created, where we have only one parameter. Sorry, we have only one parameter, which is Q. There are no local variables, so we haven't written anything here. Then we have the dynamic link, static link, and return address. And the dynamic link of the activation record C is connected to or link it to A, return address of A, because A is calling C. So this is the final picture where we have the main function which calls the subprogram B. So the activation record of B is created. Then the subprogram B is calling A. So the activation record of A is created. Then the subprogram of A is calling C. So the activation record of C is created. This is the top of the stack. So this is the way to represent the activation records. I hope you understood. Thank you.